Already setting up for that A take where Eternal Fire are stronger. The bullets and damage go Pacific's way, as well as the entries coming through. Echo now looking to try and hold things down, and successfully doing so. A clean double kill, Izzy here to support, and Pacific stopped the door.
Echo finding even another one, and the floodgates are open yet again. Izzy tries to
surprise you. And that's something that they're going to continue to do. Although Pacific here might grab our attention, as we can see right now.
Okay.
audaz stuck in the corner. That's a couple of upgrades.
Yeah, quick kills from Alorante. Bulldog in play on 7. He's on full HP, but Favian over the top's already found one back, and cNed is lucky to get away with his life.
Yeah, that he is. Shotgun in hand at close range. That's where you would want it. But Alorante's Bulldog doing the damage.
Happy to counter that point, but we'll get back to it in just a moment, because cNed's on the offensive here, and already starting as he means to go on. A quick double through ramp, and with the spike left behind in spawn and Pacific still holding this default, Eternal Fire forced to react. Is he re-clearing through main, and he will sever 7 from the situation.
Echo now trying to fight mid.
Oh, and he's going to win the first duel cleanly. Alorante, swivel of the head eventually does pick him up, and now they're back into the lens of the operator. Is he repositioning from tower, and actually still gambling on this, not quite sure where Pacific want to finish. And finally, with those steps heard, it's a foot race towards the A site.
Yeah, Izzy is here in time, but that fast lane stopping any line of sight. cNed already on site, and Izzy now doubting himself.
Yeah, tasked with getting that operator plant in, but we get to listen in now and hear how the retake goes.
Görmedim, City geldim,
City
City geldim.
bu arada.
Main'e cross koy, Eva.
Smoke at.
Main'e bakıyorum. Main'e
Biri
bakıyorum.
side, biri heaven, beyler.
Gidiyorum abi.
Sight'taki time'ına bakıyorum.
So from this position now, 2-on-2, cNed not looking the right way, or actually no, he has the sight control, sorry. Alorante over the shoulder.
Break the buy of Eternal Fire as they come straight back and up through mid. cNed caught off guard, and it's Echo once again to hold things down.
Is he just about hanging in there? Ninja spots him and actually takes through the...
He has been an absolute hero for Eternal Fire, especially thinking back to last week. It continues to be that case in this round at least. So it's an Alorante 1 versus 4. He's good for his 1vx's, but this feels a bit out for a quick exit. Favian pushed back. As he forced back as well, but it's the showstopper to respond. 7 trying to use his, but can't get the blast packs to work. And now still has that rocket, won't even get to fire it off. As Eternal Fire are very quickly shutting down Pacific after the ultimate they threw into the mixer. So it has to be a clutch from Ninja. On default, 3 players towards mid. And it's Echo to hold this part of the map down. He was successful in doing so last time.
But not on the extremities we spoke about earlier. For now, it's just Alorante outside of A on a very deep line, because the rest are interested with this B tower position, and Eternal Fire have invested utility to challenge it.
Yeah, this is a fake that they did last week so many times, and well, that Nightfall might cut them out for pushing any further forwards.
Catches 3 players, now working their way, backtracking in fact, into main, where Nekky's already set up to knock them down. 2 quick kills out of him, and Izzy even missing the leg shot onto 7. But eventually corrects himself, and with Alorante dropping the spike in behind, it's a no-scope from Izzy to follow up. Eternal Fire just moments away from tying the scoreline from the timeout.
30 seconds.
Unless qpert has it.
You can see another timeout coming out after that last round. Very quick from 7, but overall that Nightfall having so much impact. And Pacific floundering when they were trying
slower pace.
Yeah.
Molly's already dropped towards the site. It's only audaz here watching B.
Yeah, he's only had 1 kill so far to identify this site would be huge.
Wow.
That's his second. And what? Echo somehow managed to get a molly into place. Ninja spray working out as well. 3v2. This Nightfall to try and play in the tower players, but it's not hit anyone.
No, It's just allowed Favian to get out back on the site itself, whereas Izzy is holding things down in rotation. Again,
no.
as the Neon player, he's here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, but it's just, look at this. qpert to fake out towards A all by himself. The spike slowly makes its way on towards B, but Ninja needs to get a move on because there is a Neon in play, and that rotates much quicker than you expect.
But it's the gap that they've now got across with middle and uncertainty that makes this an issue. Looking at PCIFIC here, their post-plant at 56%, but another issue highlighted by the captain. The ex-academy graduates now in play for this 2-on-2. And with Favian creeping closer, it's Ninja, one off the ace. Izzy up in the heavens, already spotted. qpert, they've been winning them all stage, so with cNed set up on utility here, Favian just waits for a moment to bait out those peaks. When he re-clears, it's a swift double.
I agree, but it is audaz to hold down the site. Couldn't do it last time, only got one kill up close in the corner, and you can see PCIFIC once again doubting themselves.
Smoke timings, everything here. audaz nailed to the wall by Alorante. And again, cNed knows those tricks too well. The first Turkish champion on a global stage.
Do you prefer Astra or do you prefer Omen? And the reason this out, in fact, you see right now Echo's going elsewhere. Eternal Fire are interested towards the A side. This is looking like a brilliant fake.
Yeah, for whatever reason they seem to think it was the other side, but Izzy finally on high alert, and when he comes back into the site, comes crashing down on the heads of two PCIFIC players. Movement not good enough in the end to bail him out of the situation, and nekky with a hopeless death in the heavens means that Echo has so much heavy lifting to do, and that mid-walk down we were waiting for comes in far too soon. PCIFIC ready for every last peak, and with Favian only on a shot,
which is more than respectable. And Eternal Fire have been completely adjusted to, right? I think that's a big thing. PCIFIC haven't needed to time out, and what could be a very important second half, having
start to question it of them, because right now it's been the perfect start. Last chance to get another here up against the full buy, and with 7 already closing the distance on this site with the rocket, he is going to finish off what was started in main. Full assault of the A site here. And with those only Izzy left, he has to play in with the operator. Finds the first.
Has the ulti as well. This could be somewhat doable, but with 7 hiding away in the pit and plate, I think that should be over and done with.
It's on a timer. Izzy running out of opportunities at this point. Right back into garage. A bit of a fake and an orb collected as they head towards A.
Oh, Alo having to try and dodge round. Izzy is the one that ends up getting stunned there. Elsewhere, nekky opens up the B side. PCIFIC are walking down mid as well. There's a lot of moving parts to this round. Are PCIFIC in the right position to catch off this rotate?
I think Seven's just heard the steps here of audaz.
Yeah, he's coming through, coming round, and Ninja catches him off guard. Advantage PCIFIC. Echo making this even though, as we go back and forth in the spike plant being attempted. There's still players in garage for PCIFIC. You can see on multiple fronts, people are taking fights, and it's Eternal Fire for the moment. This seems to be coming out on top. And let you adapt. PCIFIC this time though are being forced all the way, slow and surely. Eternal Fire showing us a new face to their game.
Yeah, the A site is left hanging for them right now, as Heaven Control has already been steadily established, with PCIFIC now cut off through the toxin. There was just a moment where it looked like Izzy could get found out, and Echo will have been heard dropping into this close corner.
Yeah, I think the barrel just got seen as well. nekky now going to activate on the flank, and I can't quite win out the duel, but it does create a little bit of delay in the retake.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's taking so long for PCIFIC to complete this rotation that actually even cNed is going back to reinvestigate. The Heaven space only now repealed, and with that, nekky also arriving late in main, but focus on the site as audaz is cornered, util dropping up to his ankles. Seven has offed cNed with his own nade, and as Echo's able to stand his ground, the follow-up should be there. Or so you'd think.
The B site, and they try and play forward in towards audaz, who's not had the best of series, and given the advantage towards the defense.
Yeah, nice re-clear called by qpert, and actually a gap in the backline now opens up for 7.
Trying to work it as Favian now, all the way in towards defender spawn.
Did he get spotted?
Alo seeing it now. So that makes it an even bigger advantage for this defense. As cNed now identifying the players trying to come up rope, and Eternal Fire really stalling out here.
Up on the line though, and numbers to stop the cross.
Denied in a minute, 30 seconds remaining to get this spike down, but it's stuck in heaven. Echo now trying to be another angle in which this attack can try and get on towards the site, but at the same time PCIFIC begin to close on in. Not even going to get a chance. Is this a flawless round perhaps for PCIFIC? The answer is off their own wall and the conditioning that could possibly set, but with the toxins gone and 7 also off the board, this makes this a lot more doable. The Viper's pick seems to be wasted as well, so that's a great entry for cNed.
Yeah, brilliant shot from him. And now heading back into the retake, Ninja just one off of the Nightfall, cNed his own ult, and of course qpert with the Cosmic Divide at this point in time. It's an all-in for PCIFIC if they go
up ramp. It's PCIFIC try and decipher exactly what they want to do. It seems like a re-clear towards ramp would be a good decision, but you're heading into what has been the most on-form player for Eternal Fire, and he's not going to miss a chance. So all 4 now look to bunker down on site, while the remaining 3 of PCIFIC have to try and get here, but time is running out.
I mean, Eternal Fire quickly identify the retakes coming from main, so they've adjusted brilliantly.
Yeah, that they have, and Eternal Fire have to fight their way out, which they'll do successfully. Only Alorante left alive. On. Remember, they also have 2 timeouts to use if they want to. Eternal Fire with none. But as they go down mid, Favian is the player caught off guard. A refight from Shops gets nekky his own. So we're still resting what I thought was a 4 versus 4. But it's not. It's Eternal Fire got one more. cNed just jumping in towards site. Didn't realise there was a player below him. That was Echo. As it continues to be 1-on-1 consistently all around the map. And it seems as if we're going to even out 3v3.
Yeah, cNed's still hanging around here though.
Yeah, next fight against Echo, can't quite get the kill. Showstopper is good though, and so is 7. And it's just Echo with
Seemed to have the right adaptation afterwards, which I couldn't necessarily say was the story against Fnatic. The improvements are there, and with a little bit of headroom now, 11 rounds up, as has been their average for the 3 times that they've played it.
To back it up, Echo through mid, you can feel the danger lurking through as he comes from behind. PCIFIC's retake though is getting underway as Echo comes through at the right time, but is it too late?
PCIFIC start to show the sort of metal that we've been waiting for them for weeks. That mental blockade that had been stopping them from unlocking true potential, now finally unshackled perhaps. It gets so chaotic.
Yeah, but here we go. Just a straight up execute to deny PCIFIC their first map here on Split, their first win. It's ended up going qpert's way here. And Ninja as well. PCIFIC have got a brilliant start to this round.
I mean, Eternal Fire have absolutely nothing going for them at this point. There is no reason to take an extra duel.
Oh, it looks like they want to though. Oh, is Alorante within this? Oh! Launch the push!
Non-existent. Can those scrims translate into an official? It's not started off the best, and Eternal Fire fighting back through here, actually. Do get the better of it. qpert's got to come up with the goods. He's empty-handed on the swivel. Makes it 4 to finish another pistol. Eternal Fire winning everyone so far.
Fired up and angry, as you said, have won every single pistol, but when PCIFIC were on the attack of Split, they were able to immediately bounce back. Can they do the same here? That's the big question we've got to be thinking about.
It is. And if we're talking map theory and what it is that Fracture really requires of you as a defender, it's getting aggressive, it's taking space. What are Eternal Fire good at? Exactly those things. So already we can sit here and hypothesize. Oh my God, what a word. Hypothesize a little bit about why it might be good for them. Cheeky so-and-so. But you're starting to see that put into play.
Yeah, I'm liking this from the attack, right? They realise what they need to do. They're going for the orbs. Echo's trying to deny this with the judge, so expecting him to get a couple here, and it's not going the way you'd expect. This is exactly how that round and Split started, gaining a judge.
And no less, it is the Sentinel players. That's audaz out to dry here.
This is doable. The spike goes down, and with a rifle in hand, Ninja has the Phantom.
Surely not 2 maps in a row. I mean, Pacific have the arcade control here. That's going to be huge. Ninja with a drone late.
Oh.
He's offline now.
Yeah, and that Phantom goes offline, as well as any utility that was left in pocket already. The pool gone. This is looking like a successful retake for Eternal Fire. That Judge coming through.
Yeah.
Couple of rifles, getting the kills. It's up to cNed. His Phantom looking decent. Doesn't have the slide. Has to try and hit his shots now as Favian tries to bait him out. Bullets are getting low here. He needs to hit his shots, and he's not doing it. His time goes away. Oh, no!
So 2 maps in a row. They found an immediate equalizer. You and me on a Friday night, mate.
What do you mean by that?
Dancing shoes on. Top performance, I think, in this region. So Pacific, obviously one of the teams, maybe the only team that have lent into it here. Izzy is able to find exactly that. Alorante early on in B main, rest of the pressure being created from arcade side, but Pacific pumped the brakes for a moment.
Yeah, looking to try and respond and scale up with the utilities. Favian, who was MVP of Split, tries to be MVP of this map, but takes a step too far.
They just continue that progression, and it's the peak with no utility tower.
Eternal Fire maybe beginning to doubt themselves with a Cosmic Divide going in. You can hear the steps starting to go away. So when do Pacific make their move? It seems like now, as the players make their way out of tower, the stars going in. This is the eternal presence that you can see, but it's the Eternal Fire that continues to burn Pacific.
Great kills. Now the remaining players in through tower again. I mean, 7 just needs to create space.
It does. Planting open is not what you want to do. As qpert now basically goes into a death match. With time so low, he needs to get the spike. It is done. And it's me.
You can see there the Interceptor trying to shut down some of that utility as Alorante is on the spawn side for the attack right now. As again, they take arcade and scale onto the site.
Oh, and Echo's caught. Oh my god, the kill's just going Pacific's way every time. Evolution gone off the board, and now Echo trying to brawl his way through will give expensive for Pacific.
Yeah, he's looking for an exit. He's going to get one. The most value out of the kit is where you're taking this full Eternal Fire to the sword. Huge exchange between the ops, and as the first shot fires off, cNed knows all too well what Izzy's up to.
It's a big entry point.
On his rise back in the VCT where he'd struggled before. Ult coming in here to just suppress the players towards Gen, but you've already seen a sidestep from nekky. He's playing in and around the smoke as the spike is getting ready to be planted. A counter ult prepared on the Eternal Fire side to just delay this. But crossing the 25-second mark, Pacific really, again, not in such a comfortable position for this post-plant.
Yeah, but they've not... Eternal Fire don't really have utility to retake, so it's just straight-up fights.
And that's where it starts to benefit Ninja in the open air. That operator has changed hands, and now, with him bestowing it, it's easy enough to find the first. The trade, not so much. Plenty of utility to fall back on in this situation. qpert almost with a full belt of stars as they're dropped to the side. The fight's taken on the front foot. The fire can't...
Alo needs to be careful because he's going up against the operator and gives himself...
Nice use of the salvos here. Should clear Favian out.
Seems to be the case. Is cNed towards arcade all by himself towards the site. Pacific need to get a move on now, guys, because the time is getting too low.
Oh. Full rotation with 30 seconds. This could be an absolute blinder if Pacific are able to pull this off, but still a lot of ground to cover and still that Cypher util up.
Yeah, big if, big question, and it is audaz to hold it down himself. Didn't have the best first map, could make up for it here if he shows us the good, supported by the Cypher utility. All he needs to do is deny the spike plant, but Izzy's already here to help with that, as he's got 3 on the round, and it's just left all alone to Ninja. Does he have the time? The answer is straightforward. Starting now to ask questions of the A side as they look towards Sand actually as the entry, and it's Echo to be involved and continues to be actually. Big information to come through in terms of the retake is still, you can see Pacific trying to scale in, 3 on 3. Favian tries something special but it's delayed, and nekky, one of his own. 1v3 Alorante, what have you got for us? Can't quite connect the heads. known for his sharp shooting. Can he show it here? The answer is operator and the Cypher towards here, and nobody's given Izzy anything. And Pacific go one step further in towards the spawn, and the site anchors are questioning themselves. Where is everybody going?
Oh, it's a brilliant change up straight from the strap book. Izzy being watched over here by Alorante, who is expecting that kind of a push to come through. Timing for Echo. Oh, catches it delightfully.
Yeah, that is it. So Alorante gets put into a joker position, and 7 caught on the site. Has to play from within, supported by qpert. Spike not committed. It's a dangerous one if Echo plays beyond the cosmic divide. And a ping just for the players to come.
Someone being aggressive here. Doesn't look like Eternal Fire had really done this too many times so far.
No, out through sand. 7 catches audaz, so it's Echo all alone towards the top of site, playing amongst his cages. Can the players try and identify the dog? Should, as he's now a little bit hot under the collar. That's exactly the case. Couple of trades either way, leaves it Pacific in the advantage, but this is to clutch up in a 1v2.
No reason to get flustered here. Taken over peak. It's a 2v1. Big chance for Pacific.
7 still with the flash. That's a big info piece if he wants to use it, but would rather rely on his rifle. And ends up, going up against it.
It is a fantastic start. Echo takes one to the dome as he'll scale away across the zip line into the site. It's absolute chaos, but Pacific starting to find the shots. That's when nekky notches one back. A 3-on-2 with both players retaking bridge.
Yeah, they're going to be there fairly late, to be honest, and with no utility. Echo, that's a clean fight.
That was the low player. Little utility left, like you say, but it's this cute reposition from nekky that could be so pivotal. Frenzy in hand. If he walks off the angle, he perhaps leaves audaz a little bit exposed inside the site. But again, his reprisal is bang on. And with a flash for the rest to play off. A pack here on the Pacific side, and as they emerge from the smoke, the fire start to fall flat. The kill's coming up, and it's nekky again. The captain holding the torch with the rest of the fire following. Another 3 versus 2, and how eager are Pacific to give this a shot?
I mean, qpert has 1 star in his pocket and 1 coming back, so at least there's that in their favour.
When it comes to Alorante, there's 1 crosscut, a singular TP to maybe close the distance, but even then, the animation too long to really create a serious threat.
nekky also has 2 mollies, that's the other thing to consider.
Yeah, and with this one placed in the middle of the site, there's just so much ground to cover. Pacific continuing to creep, and as that happens, the hairs on the back of their necks standing up, and this needs to be the moment Alorante finds the all-important kill. Last 2 players locked away in the tower, and with the half secured through qpert, there is still half a chance here. That second salvo dropping in, and he's forced to backtrack from it.
Fire. And Echo not hitting his shots. That's a big point.
Unreal.
That is a really big point. And at least at the same time, Eternal Fire respond. They're going to take the site and they're going to have post plan.
But they're starting to use some of those tools early on to claw back a kill, and with that, actually, Pacific, one less thing to worry about in this retake when they have ults of their own. Look at Ninja.
Yeah, Pacific now starting their own movement straight back into this with the spike planted in the middle of site. Big kills coming through from Pacific. So what have Izzy and nekky got for us in terms of a clutch? Ninja considering his ultimate as nekky goes and tries to brawl. Why would you do that? Because you whipped Izzy all along.
To wrap back around.
Yeah, they're starting to doubt it, and the Seekers will identify this for Pacific. Echo is on site. Alorante, if he wins this, could decide the round.
And it's qpert instead over his shoulder to set it up. Pacific a player to the good, coming into what is such an important round for them to win and keep that streak going. Favian trading out, but it's Ninja over the top. Twice the numbers now. Beyond this Astra wall, Favian has to find so much. audaz there with him, and already the kill's starting to come in, but cNed's ready to play. Bang! He just walks up to the wall, slap in the face from audaz. On the line for more. Alorante now all too aware of it.
It's qpert here in the cage pop as well towards the A side, calling cNed back. Nearly had a fight on the spike holder. As qpert begins to round the corner, misses his chance on audaz, or does he?
No, takes a brilliant one. Echo lurk timing though, yet to be spotted! cNed with a no-scope, how about one more? cNed still going, but Eternal Fire respond?
Keep the advantage as well, Pacific. So in a 3 versus 2, Eternal Fire need to get that spike back.
And it looks like actually, Necky's just going to run it the whole 9 yards over to B.
Would you time so low? It should give nothing away.
Alorante has a TP. I'm not quite sure where it's to, but out of the conversation into, they should understand now that that is the lurk. Still 3 players strong siding on the A site, but the first player to come under fire is Echo. Again, that lurk goes short.
Yeah, and now the goal button pressed for Eternal Fire, but they've been stalled out for the moment. The utility sent forward. Those smoke stopping Izzy to get on a line, but look at Pacific, proactive as ever.
Alorante closing up the distance on the flank. 2 or 3 players ready to attack main, but maybe just waiting for the German to walk up and what would be the first win for him on home soil. The first of his kind. It's nekky he's got to beat though, and that's when we come back to reality. A kill that just peels away the presence and stops Pacific from getting back in. Izzy bulkering down. First kill picked up from the operator, but Ninja does trade it. Still a 3-on-3 and it all hangs in the balance. cNed pops the ult to try and close the distance, but he is going to drop down to audaz, who's had a couple kills already. And the last is out here for cNed, and it's set up with this flash. Echo again in the firing line. Again, he is dead.
Yeah, he's had a really rough map so far. That spike now over to safety on the attacker spawn. But they're looking to hit into Aloe and qpert.
He feels like such a late win condition, right? 16 and 16 right now. He isn't in the red, but it's the impact some of these kills have had, perhaps. Rotation called off of the opening engagement from Pacific, perhaps reading between the lines on the presence of the Cypher player this time.
Yeah, but they're moving in towards cNed, in towards that operator.
Maybe that's where the problems start to arise for Eternal Fire. The spike carrier here as well on Favian, but actually, yeah, it looks like they are going to pivot back, and that's because Izzy has one laid up on Aloe, caught in transition.
Oh, the shots connect for qpert though, and Seven's here in the right spot. Time to delay, and these players for Eternal Fire need to get a move on. Big kill though.
35 seconds, now coming to the point of no return. Eternal Fire a decision to make, and it looks like they're fully committed to the B play. Reposition into arcade from qpert. Didn't hear the jump up. Favian has the backstab, but they're completely split here. It all comes down to the individuals, and with time continuing to tick away, Favian gets the kill he needs.
Yep, opens up the site. That is a big ultimate to create more delay. Look at that time.
Ninja still with a stun here to try and play back through. cNed can be said for the same. Drops into the corner, just misses out. All eyes on audaz, has to do the heavy lifting. Falls to Favian, finds the first. One more!
Got rid of the trip from the veto as they look to go straight in and stop anything coming their way, any sort of denial, but it's qpert that denies him through his Guardian. Ends up settling a 2v2, but you need to get that spike back, and this is a key point. nekky, Phantom in hand, fighting forward! Oh my god, nekky!
The captain! And after this fight to the death on site with a quick rotation from Pacific, you thought they had it in their hands. How many times has that
decided through an A brawl is either side send it in. All comes through the drone in terms of info, but cNed's judge comes through, spamming in. Kills going Pacific's way initially, but that could be the change. That could be the way in terms of Eternal Fire winning this map. As cNed retreats and tries to give it up, Eternal Fire look to bear on down.
He needs a reposition here, a solid one. Alorante doesn't get enough. Power on the defender's side, but that immediately makes you want a Pacific pistol to try and right the ship. And for all the
issues for Eternal Fire, that's why they're being forced through tree. And it still continues on with cNed finding Echo, who's been really found out since that last map.
3 already picked up on the Sheriff with that late timing from B main. nekky looking for something here, trying to scour away if he possibly can. And as soon as he's receptive of any pressure, you can see actually, audaz wants to try and set this up with a paranoia. The problem is the net lands at his captain's feet, so while he's trying to go ahead and dig this one out, Seven's just back into a post plant. What a potential retake could look like for Pacific. Of course, their tools are typically bound to the sites they're set up on. Here's a bit of proactivity in B main up against the bonus. Favian does a brilliant job to handle it. 3 kills from him picked up, and 7 left searching with the Sheriff.
Yeah, I mean, as 7 comes back in with the Sheriff, Favian we've been creating, that's a great nade. The players within the smoke still there, and a nice information grab by audaz. And cNed now all alone on site, trying to respect this one and not give anything away, although being so low, he might not get a chance to fight back in.
Yeah, needed a kill on the way back through, but 7's so far advanced.
Yeah, he has been mercurial and looks to do it again! A big 3K! Brings it into a 2v1. Remember, cNed so low, a body shot would be enough. But given enough space, nekky goes back onto site. Spike in the back pocket, tries to use it to his advantage. Waits for the next fight, and it's a brilliant one onto qpert. That was the full health player, and now again cNed.
Talking about Pacific miss out in micro moments, showing just a little bit of disconnect between them. With Aloe, who with these cross-map Thorn lineups, does have a bit of stall, but nothing that can stop a showstopper here. Right over the top of the head of 7. He will find Favian and continue to bunker down on backside A.
That's what Deadlock's so good for, being able to adapt to the setup. His ultimate doesn't connect, and the shots from Eternal Fire seem to straight away and a disadvantage are Pacific.
Back into the retake, quick one from qpert, gets them back on side.
Yeah, cNed's operator, can he work a chance? Sees a barrel on a reload, but misses his opportunity. So he does bring in qpert to play with him, and Ninja still waiting for his chance, but it looks like it's going to be fleeting as Eternal Fire continue to connect pain onto Pacific's players. What? Echo somehow doesn't react quick enough, but manages to make the...
Eternal Fire will know that. As you can see here, really pacey play. Straight up the guts through the B site. Izzy trying to make his way in through the Hobbit door. It's a long slide from cNed, winning out that big exchange between the two. Echo a couple of his own, and in and amongst all the chaos, the round now offered a bit of quiet and offer a little bit of relief here. A split retake on the Pacific side, but they should know he hasn't repositioned main.
Yeah, it does get a chance to go for those ones. Has paranoia as well.
But at what point can he isolate an engagement? qpert still just looking on here. And if audaz were to round the corner, could very quickly find himself exposed. This paranoia on the defender's side. audaz now played into the situation, scrambling to find that final player as qpert cuts across from main, walking round towards the bend as audaz now starts to know. Playing the time down to the final second. There might not be much left in this one as Eternal Fire.
That's what you got to do, and oh, this looks like it's another scrap already built up with a mound trap triggered. There's nobody to actually capitalise off the back. Yeah, but the nade isn't there, and Favian is. An even trade, but it is a reset. Towards B main we look.
I think that's one of the issues with no damaging utility here. So Alorante's the tip of the spear through the middle. Izzy finds him. Sentinel util down. Echo played in for a fight on 7, which he loses.
Yeah, it's rough, but at least the Buyer Mesh does go up. 3v3 on the retake, dropping in. Nobody can scissors, is he?
And 7's just playing util out. qpert trying to follow it up. TP's back out of the situation, 2-on-2. Still no plant in play. But Pacific need to just put things together in this situation. Play off of the numbers. Nekky is completely out of position here in main. Nowhere for him to go. It's all on the shoulders of audaz, still behind the barrier as it finally fades away. Reposition tucks the smokes player into the box as nekky is the first point of contact. The spam's got to land at some point because otherwise this is a full stick from qpert, and when he's finally removed, it comes down to Ninja. A clutch one already for him. Nekky can say the same. Between the two of them, it's all on this, and nekky from Pacific ready to fight them at the root, but Izzy has a smash and grab answer with the operator. Echo left behind, but Ninja does catch him on the way out.
I got Spike.
Spike retrieved, and seems if that decision's made. It's Alorante to face up against 4.
Ultimate. Go, go, go.
Has to stand his ground in this situation. And the Steel Garden is there. Should Pacific opt for the retake in this 4-on-4. You can see still just biding his time, waiting for the rest of the defense to arrive. Solo player towards CT side, finally rips the... Oh, and Favian! Like a lawnmower, just slices straight through the cloud cover. qpert won on the trade,
Put in, Pacific can feel a little hard done by. If we want to point out, I was talking about audaz and him not having a great series, but you've got to be looking towards Pacific as well, right? Players like Alorante and Ninja not showing up when it's needed.
it's like...
That's
they have
the worrying aspect here. Favian triggers the wall, but there's no response from Pacific.
This is nice mid-rounding from Eternal Fire, though, continuing to create that pressure where Pacific are struggling to handle it. No issues gaining access to the C site so far.
qpert's starting to move out A main as Echo tries to make moves of his own.
They're walking into him here. qpert could be in for a boatload, but it's just the one that he will find. No B-main control, no follow-up. Favian still testing on the C side. Showstopper popped in for the kill on Aloe. Won't find it the first time, and with cNed there to pick up the pieces. Pacific still in this round.
Yeah, but I thought for a minute the spike was going towards B. It's just Izzy himself.
30
But it's a
seconds
2v2 on site.
Yeah, and look, if cNed gets in there quick enough, audaz was out in the open. Drops in with a bit of blind spam. Nothing taken. Izzy could pull the plug on this whole play, though. That's not if cNed keeps going in and around the pit.
Izzy's nowhere to be seen.
Echo left behind. He finds the kill he needs, and it's another B pivot. Time is low, but there's just enough to get this plant in. cNed's going to try and interrupt. And it's a change-up of the Thorns as well. First time that we see it dropped in tree. Do they read into this? Echo left behind, residual as always, detached from the rest of the pack, and this is a problem. Ninja looking to try and fend them off, can only stall out for so long. Eternal Fire all over Pacific like a rash, and with Favian left behind, he nearly finishes it off himself. Spectre to be upgraded, but the expectation is Eternal Fire with 9. Their Lotus improved since the Fnatic game. They showed us how good they could be against Vitalia and really find some value. So here they go, another pistol on the cards, and it looks like Eternal Fire are ready to take it home already. Izzy with 3. qpert has gained a little bit of ground.
Yeah. Straight in. I mean, it looks like qpert's going to play entry here as well. As we can see, Echo trying to play within his own
Haven't found him.
And yes, they haven't. And he drops down, looking for another. Easily responded to. Nekky's just sent it in. And Pacific well aware of what Eternal Fire want to do. What is going on there?
With the bucket clay pigeon shooting, or is he the pigeon? I don't know.
I don't even know myself, mate. 3v2 here. Surely you don't play into the bucket. I wouldn't expect so. And Pacific now finally look to try and get the last couple of players off and finally won the round.
They really want to keep this clean. Money's still not in the best of places. We're talking about it being a long road and one step at a time. Shot from audaz.
But it's now Favian has asked the question, can he win out the next duel? As you can see, Eternal Fire dancing with the idea of the next fight, and Pacific up to task as they death ball through.
Huge punishment on that next follow-up, and Eternal Fire maybe overheating just a little bit there. Tail end of Alorante spotted merging its way towards the site, and a big 1v1 happening in heaven.
Favian low, does get a kill, so he keeps it within the realms of possibility. Echo escapes. Ninja playing sentinel.
Kill.
But it's a 2 versus 1 at the same time. And it's audaz to clutch up. Silent drop. Not heard. And Alpha rotates is already that's set execute to come through once again. Ultimates from either side. The Viper's pit. Huge here. And it's actually caught audaz, not Echo. As he's got a double kill with a classic. No way! Finally the pit drops through cNed, but it's still a 3-on-3. The kill's still to come through, the chaos still continuing, and Pacific on the other side of it.
Holding angles as a team and winning as a team. Izzy barred from C-site access here, but what's around the side of the mesh? Still a 1v3.
Still with the ulti as well. So do not count him out just yet. He starts to send it in.
He's going for it.
This is an expensive one to try and be the hero in, and he's already lost a lot of health.
Right back in on the A play.
I'm out of here.
Izzy's op yet to really find itself too involved in the conversation right now.
That's an early nightfall.
Is nekky going to peek this? Of course he is, and he's been punished again.
And that
Just for a
nightfall
moment, Alorante has the steel garden. Careful investment of the tools catered towards the site execution. Backside already condemned to it. Favian finding one in the middle, and this is where Izzy now wants to introduce himself. But cNed shows him the door, sent marching orders, PCIFIC plotting course for a 9th, and that's where you start to believe.
Audaz is retreating. He's thrown in the white till. Nothing that he wants to do with this round. Save a rifle into the next. You're on 9, Hazza. Do you start to take notice now?
I think you have to. Right, I think you have to. We'll look at and see what the next couple look like and see if they can actually tie this one up fully. Even then, I don't feel fully confident to say that PCIFIC win it from that position just based on what we saw in Fracture a map ago. But right now, the mental reset to come into this half knowing it's their stronger side, bearing on down to PCIFIC's position, the Toxin screen is going to drop, and so he does have to TP out. Favian wishes he had such a liberty. He's as dead as anything. Trying to trim the herd with a bandit back through the smoke, but Eternal Fire are cowering on all fronts here. Brilliant bait from Seven. What an upturn in form from him on this map as we've gone from half to half. This is going to be number 10, Cairo.
Spike planted.
Do you still not believe in this op? Again,
He's been forced back again.
the bane of PCIFIC's existence at times, but all it is, a ruse to play in the rest of the team. Favian, audaz, Echo combining. Numbers on their side. qpert TP's away.
Next kill basically decides the round, it feels like.
It does. And it might just come down to this duel on B. Alorante shows himself, but the shoulder of Echo spotted. Playing around the smoke, just trying to stop this one from bleeding out. To end.
Oh, Aloe, if he'd stuck on the line, would have been a huge off-angle. Nekky now announcing himself and pulling Aloe's attention.
Just dragging the head away. qpert needs this one cleanly. You said it decides the round, and that might be it dead and buried.
With respect, but Izzy's on the hunt. Operator trying to get on towards the line early. When that door opens, the operator not hitting, but has announced itself, and audaz stuck with no way out. So finally, again, PCIFIC straight back in with the first blood.
This is nice. Yeah, not making any big risks on an early investment. Just trying to take the sand space. They get B main behind the smoke, and Favian's re-clearing. They are ready for it, as always. And again, Eternal Fire go reaching, and the wrist is cut clean off.
You can see with the tap of the door, the Eternal Fire on the hunt once again. They want those numbers back in their favour. And PCIFIC are playing the buddy system. They're playing together, they're walking, and not letting themselves get caught off guard.
Re-clear here into Izzy's operator, though. This is where the round could fall to pieces for PCIFIC, but Izzy is feeling a little bit forgiving this time. Doesn't land the shot. The ult tries to chase him up. He repositions close to go for another duel.
30 seconds left.
So when cNed's able to cross the link, the bridge towards the site, is he still hanging on for every last centimetre of space? Echo right by his side. It's Seven once more for PCIFIC. It would be OT. The slide through the smoke works out. Brilliant blind. So many players tagged up. Favian finding one and quickly dodging his way back out with a satchel. qpert is low. Numbers on the defender's side.
And you feel like that fate, that deciding fight has been decided.
Go, go, go!
PCIFIC, their luck has run out. qpert low, cNed taking damage, and they walk into a site that has Favian in it, a player who just consistently performs.
A double stack. Echo retooled on the pistol here for it. Clean shot onto qpert, could end it here and now, but gets spotted out. And actually, that's both of the players noted on the Eternal Fire side, and actually a rotation being called here.
Yeah, qpert thinking about that C site. If you get spiked down, you get post-plant
30
to
seconds
actually
left.
set up by yourselves.
Ooh.
You can maybe get an off angle here or there.
Sure.
Look for numbers back in your favour.
I mean, that's what it's got to be, right? Has to sit on the shoulders of cNed here to just pry away and find a little bit of space. Encroach aggressively. Plant's going to come in. audaz doesn't stick it.
Spike planted.
But he does give the info.
He does. And we need to see this forward line taken.
That's what cNed's going for.
Looking for it. Players walking
Last
into his
lane
crosshairs.
Oh.
cNed taken down. It's all on qpert now to keep PCIFIC in this. Their first win fell so close. He sprays.
PCIFIC, but it's